All right, YouTube, Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. I want us to take a look at this economy. You know, they like to tell us that the economy is better under Biden. They like to tell you unemployment is down under Biden. And I've spoken on the situation with unemployment because, as you could see, or you may not see if you're not here in Michigan, how the unemployment rate actually came down as far as in statistics is because of how many people they cut benefits. But those same people are not actually able to find work. And most people that are working in the city and around the country are working two jobs because one job is not enough to take care of the bills and give them a better standard of living. Because at this point, the food that you buy now has went up double digits. So inflation that is generated through these capitalists is really destroying what they used to call the middle class and turning the middle class into working poor, which is downward spiral in the communities and amongst the citizens. And you can see the pressure and the depression in the atmosphere where people are just down, you know. But I want you to check out this clip and watch how these people respond to what they're seeing and what they have going on as far in their own communities, their own bank accounts, and how they feel about the state of the country and these politics. So check out this clip. It's for fair usage of the 1976 Copyright Act for education and commentary. Look at this.
Now is skyrocketing again across the U.S. Americans are struggling again to make ends meet. Well, when do they get a break? I mean, this is never ending. Inflation now is skyrocketing again across the U.S. Americans are struggling again to make ends meet. Well, when did they get a break? They didn't under Bidenflation. The prices of everyday items like bread, butter, eggs, milk, and more, everything we eat, all up double digits. And it's forcing hardworking Americans to make sacrifices as a result. Or as I point out, the ones that they've continued to make those sacrifices since Biden got into office. A Redfin study just found an alarming number of Americans are skipping meals just so they can afford to live in their home. So it's no wonder voters are not so hot on President Biden's very cold economy.
I think he's been absolutely disastrous for the economy.
I agree.
Raise your hand if you think President Trump's policies on the economy would be better for your family personally. Raise your hand. All right, so that is everybody. Is there anything Joe Biden could do or say between now and the time you vote that would make you feel differently about feeling that his policies would not be as good for your family on the economy? Or are you pretty much decided that Trump's policies would be better for the economy?
I mean, I feel like he doesn't even take accountability for what's at all with what's going on in the economy. Not even accountability, like he's in denial that it's happening.
He's gaslighting literally everyone in the process.
Oh my goodness, that was on MSNBC. He's bringing us.
And that's what I've been saying. He's telling you something which is false because you can see the opposite in your wallet, in your refrigerator, in your paycheck, in the community. They call it gaslighting when it's really just lying. Listen to some more.
Together, Biden, everybody agreed on screen, no matter how they vote, that this economy is bad for them. President Biden, however, dismisses voters' concerns and defends his economy. Here he goes.
We have dramatically reduced inflation from 9% down to close to 3%. We're in a situation where we're better situated than we were when we took office, where inflation was skyrocketing.
Okay. That is not true. It was 1.4% in January of 2021. So we start off with something that's not true, and we go from there.
Right. Well, there's a couple of things that he has said that are not true, and I've got the numbers. That's what we did. We did a fact check at Fox Business to look at what the president said versus the reality of what Americans are feeling and saying. To your point, January of 2021, headline CPI inflation was at 1.4%. That's when he took office. Yes, it jumped to 9.1%, and now it's sitting at 3.5%. Okay, those are the numbers. Okay. But overall prices, everything that you're paying for, your shelter, your food, your groceries, your groceries and your gas, 18.9% from when he took office to now. That is the overall jump. Okay, that's one thing. Wages have not kept up pace with inflation. That's the other important part I want to point out. He said that wages are rising faster than prices. Barely true. In fact, since he took office in January of 2021, average hourly earnings after you factor in inflation, down 2.54%.
But that's the inflation that doesn't add in food and energy, as you just said. So
well,
how bad is it when you, I mean, because that's where we spend most of our money. We have people now putting basic groceries on their credit cards again. Right. They had abandoned that under Trump. You ask people, how was it compared to being in the pandemic? It's worse now. No, we couldn't even go anywhere.
But the headline CPI that we got yesterday does include shelter and food and energy prices. And so, Wall Street is always traditionally looked at the core number. Well, forget the core number. Americans are feeling that. They're feeling the headline number. And that's what that was the big story yesterday. And we got PPI today, which is wholesale. That was hotter than expected. And that energy, forget it. Oil's up right now. It's going to get worse.
So what is Biden selling?
How many of you out there just notice people are just working to exist with no upward mobility? Think about it. How many people that you know, the only thing they can do is afford to go back and forth to work? Their whole life revolves around working because they can't afford the cost of living. So under Biden, we just have to exist. Is this what makes the country better? Just existing, no upward mobility?
I don't know. I don't have the Biden last name, so I didn't grow up being able to just get a job or work for an energy company with no experience. Just didn't grow up that way. And, we were paycheck to paycheck growing up, and we made things work with the little that we had. And if you got family members, friends that live in real America that aren't wealthy, you're feeling the heat as well. Because in my family, when one person in the family is struggling, somebody has to step in the gap to help everyone else out. The president is going around the country right now hosting these kitchen table little sessions. It's very choreographed. Do you open up the refrigerator? Do you ask the people how much milk is up? How much eggs are up? I mean, it's one thing to go out there and talk with American people, but if you're not having legitimate conversations, you can't make policy that reflects their lived experience.
You know what? As you're talking, Emily, something just hit me with different meaning for imagery that we saw yesterday. Like we saw former President Trump doing what he always does. He goes out and he hangs out with people, and he may pick up a tab for this or a tab for that. He bought people food yesterday. That is diametrically opposed to what we're seeing with Joe Biden.
That's right. And I have to point out as well, United Way operates the 200 plus 211 call centers here in this country that provide economic assistance. And they have reported an alarming surge for now a few years now under this administration, where people are essentially making too much to be eligible and yet are feeling catastrophically under asset. They don't have enough, right? And they're saying up to, at this point, 36 million Americans, 29% of Americans right now are above the poverty line, this sort of false one that the federal government has drawn, but they feel the pinch, they feel the squeeze, their savings are going out, they need help. And they call these helplines, they say, we've never done this before, we need help. And then they're told, I'm sorry, you're not eligible. There's a whole swath of Americans that are feeling pain right now, but that according to this administration are doing just fine, but they're not.
Marie Harf, when will we get President Biden to give us a Bill Clinton moment? I feel your pain. I'm serious.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is tough for the Biden team because there are some facts here. You know, when Democrats, not obviously I'm not part of the administration, when the Biden team took office, we were teetering on the edge of a global recession because of COVID and because of eventually then a year later because of the war in Ukraine. They did do things like raise interest rates to try and give us this sort of soft landing. We haven't tipped into, I mean, other countries in Europe are having horrific inflation,
But
much worse than ours.
from the administration, we're not going to have a soft landing.
This is what I'm saying, that there are things the Biden team did that prevented this from being worse. That is a hard sell to voters. Right. And part of the reason voters are still paying more for a lot of goods, particularly poultry and meat, is because companies, even as inflation has come down, are making more and more. We are record
They're not.
profits.
That's not true,
That
Marie.
is true.
It is not.
It is absolutely true. Let me finish though. Let me finish. We are record corporate profits across the board when people are paying more and corporations are making catastrophic profits. So this is a hard political one because they're doing a lot of the right things in the economy.
All right,
but it's
financial
hard.
expert gets
The cost that the companies, their operations are costing more, their input costs are costing more. That's the report
Some of them.
that I did this morning, most of it. And that includes also wages and the other pieces of the real estate, all of it. So it's.
Well, they're still also trying to recover from a pandemic as well. It's not like we didn't shut businesses down as well. So I think we're all recovering. But he said he was going to make it better, and things aren't better.
Well, he hasn't said build back better in quite some time.
Exactly.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-host.
So we have to think about that. While the citizens suffer, this administration finds more ways to help the immigrants who came over here illegally and support them while still cutting and denying the benefits of the common man. We should start filming when you go to these places to receive benefits. Record your interaction. Record who's there, reasons for being denied, because they're denying most citizens, and start putting them in the media so that the people can actually see what's happening on the ground versus what they're hearing from political pundits while they go around the country giving out false information as it relates to how good this country is doing. So think about it and be active. But clearly you can see from the prices of food and things that we need to survive, the essentials, it's getting to the point we can barely afford them. Signing to you out, Detroit. Keep your head on a swivel. Salute to the Patriots. Peace.